Morning, everybody. This is a quick video on how to become your own guru, learning to listen to your inner voice. You see a lot of people, a lot of videos online, a lot of people watching other people, and I don't get me wrong, I do it too. We all do it, and there's great value in it, I believe, because everybody has an important message, you know. And sometimes you need to hear certain things in order to maybe, I don't know, trigger you, or you ever notice sometimes you just hear the right thing and it just triggers something inside of you, and you feel better. It maybe gives you what you needed to hear, that sort of thing. But along all of that, you can fall into this whole, I don't want to say worshiping, idolizing maybe. Some of us can fall into the trap that, let's face it, we're trying to get out of this trap, to idolize, to look up to, don't get me wrong, it's nothing wrong with looking up to people. It's just when you look up to someone to the point where you feel that they're better than you and you could never do what they're doing, you're, in a sense, beating yourself down. And every time you watch these videos, you're strengthening that belief. Not all of you, I'm sure some of you watch these videos for the right reasons and whatever, but those of you who can relate to what I just said know who you are. And again, it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. That's just where you are in your path, in your journey. That's just where you are right now in your level of awakeness. Be your own guru. So be your own guru. Be your own guru. Really, what it means to be your own guru is to learn how to listen to your inner voice and to really unlock your intuition. Now, you're probably thinking, well, how do you do this? How do you unlock your intuition? How do you listen to your inner voice? I got a voice going on in my head all the time, and it just doesn't want to shut up, and it keeps telling me how stupid I am. Keeps telling me, how much I want to eat those chips in the aisle, and when I'm trying not to eat junk food, it's showing me pictures of everything that I want, don't want. Part of me wants it, part of me doesn't. And that brings me to the point. Part of you wants it and part of you doesn't. There's this duality, right? Perceived duality inside of all of us. And we could tend to fight with that duality often, tend to struggle with wanting to be a certain way, but your ego, the other side of you, the part that tends to make most of the negative, wrong decisions in your life, can tend to take you over. I'm getting to the point there, how to listen to your own guru. Come on. Okay. What it really comes down to is, and I got to use an example from Uplifting Humanity. It's a guy I watch on YouTube. Great videos, real deep wisdom. Wise man. Speaks from the heart. And you use an example of video games. So I thought it was a really good example. If you play a video game, you'll notice, most video games, you get to a point at the end of the stage and you have a boss, and you have to beat the boss in order to move on to the next stage. And throughout the stage, there's all these little fights that you kind of go through, right? You got to kill all this henchmen, and then you fight this big boss, and then you move on to stage 2, so on. Well, in order to listen to your own guru, you kind of have to do this process, but within. You look at your life and your struggles from within, kind of like a video game. You might have all these voices in your head that tell you this, tell you that, things that you don't agree with, things that you don't like, and your things about yourself that you could be doing better. And it's by working on these aspects of yourself and letting go your expectations, unrealistic expectations, letting go of what such and such wants you to be. And just really being yourself. Letting go of what you think people want you to be or what you're supposed to be and all of that. And just coming into yourself and listening to your heart. Now, what does that mean, listening to your heart? Well, it's pretty simple. You think of it, when you have those two voices, you've got your one that it's you're not supposed to spend that money, that's for a bill. But if you spend it, you're probably going to fall into the minus. You might not have enough money on your debit or whatever, and then that's going to cause you some stress and anxiety later on in the future. And some of you might even start to feel that stress and anxiety, while even thinking of that decision. Do I go and do I buy this thing, even though I know I shouldn't? And by doing this, you're not listening to your heart, you're listening to your ego, and you're causing your own pain. And you will not be able to listen to your inner guru if you're surrounded by all of this pain, all of this anxiety, all of the stuff that you're bringing onto yourself. We all bring onto ourselves. Now, the way to do this, to listen to your inner guru to get there, how do you get there? How do you really get there? Right? You start with the simplest thing. You start with the thing inside of yourself that's probably not attached into the real world. It might be a word you say to yourself. It might be something as simple as every time you watch a video of somebody dance, you might say in your head something like, "Oh, I wish I could dance like that, but I could never." Right there is where you start. You let go of any kind of doubt that you are putting on yourself. You start by pulling those out of your vocabulary. Those have no space in here because you know yourself, your heart knows. This is where it comes, right? Your heart knows that you're hurting yourself by telling yourself these words, which become belief over time. You see how this works? So you start with the easiest thing, and eventually you notice you're not telling yourself. You'll probably notice that at first you're going to still tell yourself that how can I say this? You're still going to tell yourself that you can't dance, but you're going to start to notice that as soon as you tell yourself this, you might catch it. You might be like, "Oh, no." And then what do I do? Well, you replace it with a good thought. You say to yourself, "No, if I wanted to dance, I could just do the same thing that person did and learned how, right? I could do the same thing. I can. It's that simple." And then you let it go. You don't need to dwell on it. You just let it go. And by doing this process with one thing at a time, you work on one thing at a time, you catch it, you work on it, and eventually that thought doesn't come in your mind anymore. You watch those shows, it might just kind of peek in, and you just kind of like, "Oh yeah, no, that's not me. I know better now," right? You get on to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And eventually you get to this point where you've got this inner peace, this inner quiet that used to be filled with all these I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, blah, 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 your thoughts. When you get to that point where this is quiet now, more quieter, you just have to trust me. And if you don't believe me, do it for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Just try it. Just try it. Just try it. See for yourself. See what happens. See what happens. Your inner guru can then speak to you once you can quiet the mind. So the boss, like in the video game, once you beat the boss, it's the same idea as telling yourself in your head that you can't dance. Well, you just beat that boss. You're not. It's not telling you that in your head when you watch that show. See what I'm saying? You're free from that limiting belief that you used to beat yourself down with. You beat the boss. So now you're moving on to the next stage, and that's where the magic happens. Once you can strip back as many layers as possible in that way, the same way as you peel back the layers on an onion, you know, the different layers, eventually you get to the root, deepest layer. That's where all the magic happens. Well, that's it for now, and that's all I wanted to say for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped anybody out there, you know, thank you. I appreciate you watching my videos, even though I don't have very many yet. I appreciate your time, your energy. I appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.